citizens of Gun Freak Nation. Um, I recently got several comments on some of my videos of people saying that, some of my citizens saying that they actually do own guns, but they don't want to take a life. And I got numerous emails, comments that were left saying, to do a video on it. Like, what would I do if I was in that situation where my home was being invaded, broken into, and I don't want to take a life. So, one of the guys, he said he was in his upper age, because I don't want to call him elderly, but he was up in age, and he was like, he can't see himself, pointing a gun at a savage, a home invader, and actually pulling the trigger. He don't want to take a life. And I get it, and another concern he had was that he left me a long comment on one of my videos. Another concern he had was that what if the savage, the home invader got, disarmed him, basically, and used used his own gun against him. So I was faced with that, and he was like, can you do, he was just one of the ones. He was like, can you do a video on it? So here are my thoughts. For those of you that are out there that do not own a firearm, I highly suggest you go purchase one. But just because you have a firearm, it doesn't make you invincible. It doesn't give you the mental fortitude that to know how to use that firearm. Because I've over the duration of me doing these videos, I've encountered people that had the same questions for me. Like, what if they take the gun? What if they wrestle the gun away from me? And they was talking about surveys and stuff like that, where a lot of people that had guns got killed with the guns that they own. Some kind of way the perpetrator got the gun, wrestled the gun away from them, and used their own gun to kill them. They were saying surveys. Well, I'm gonna say this: you can't always go by what a survey say. A lot of those surveys are put together by these anti-gun people to make stuff to scare people. They're paid to by all these rich people that has millions of dollars that don't live in the neighborhoods we live in. They live in gated communities. They're up in their mansions, in their ivory towers, looking down on us and thinking they know what's best for us. When you living in a gated community, when you living in an ivory tower, you can't speak for me. You don't know what my living situation is and like what my neighborhood is. That's people that got everything, that already got armed security, gated communities. They don't know what it's like to go, just walk right up the street to the Murder Mac. Yes, the Murder Mac. A McDonald's where so many people got killed, they call it the Murder Mac. They don't know what it's like to go to the gas station and get carjacked. Ain't none of that stuff in their neighborhoods. None of that. They don't have to deal with any of that. I was watching clips of what's that show with all of the women, The View, and you got Whoopi, Joyce, Sonny. They don't. Come on now, Whoopi ain't dealing with that. She's talking all this anti-gun stuff. All these politicians, but they don't have to deal with the realities. They somewhere in mansions, man. So getting back to that, don't go by no surveys because it's probably been put together by some anti-gunners in the first place. Like Mike Bloomberg. He's I believe a billionaire, and he put together stuff like that. So getting back to it, my question is, listen, it all boils down to this. Do you value your life? Because if you do, you will be able to pull that trigger. Because if they're breaking into your home, especially if they are armed, then you are to send them to Funky Town. Bottom line. You have to send them to Funky Town. You have to have the mentality that it's either them or you. And you don't want it to be you. Now, your second question was, you fear that they can get the gun away from you, wrestle the gun away from you, and use your own gun to take your life. It all goes down to your training, sir. Let me say this. If that's your fear, that you let somebody take away the gun from you and you die at the hands of your own gun, well, first, sir, number one, they got to get to you in order to do that. So if with proper training, training, I highly suggest that you find a local range and shoot your gun. Now, you have to let that person get up on you in order to be that close a proximity to take your gun. I suggest that if they're making a move towards you, then you automatically, neutralize them. Send them to Funky Town. Don't let nobody get up on you to take your gun. If they're coming at you, whether they armed or not armed, if you got your gun and you're saying, do not take another step, leave my home, leave my house, do not take another step towards me, and they still coming at you, then what do you think? You got to use, these are common sense scenarios. So if they're coming at you and you don't shoot them, then 9 out of 10, they probably will disarm you and use that gun against you. So how do you counter that? They take one more step, especially if they're trying to run at you. You aim center mass or the head or the legs if they got on body armor. That's how you defeat that. You never let nobody disarm you or get close enough. Then they got this, I believe it's called the 21 feet or the 21 foot rule. I learned that when I was doing security years ago, where if somebody got a knife and they 21 feet away, and you got your gun in your holstered or whatever, by the time it's a 21 feet rule. Before you get your gun out your holster, they could be up on you stabbing you before you even get a chance to get the gun out. So in a situation like that, you got to be fast, and it's like every situation is unique and different. You know what I'm saying? Every situation is unique because in a situation like that, in any violent situation, it usually go down in a matter of seconds. And that's why I say, If you rely on 911, police take minutes to arrive. Hell, in Detroit, it can be up to an hour. And I'm not even joking. So, in a situation where seconds matter, law enforcement arrives in minutes. So you have to be your first line of defense. You have to be the responder, and you respond by having a gun. But you got to be smart with the gun. And I understand. Listen. Somebody asked me, like, what would you do if you encountered a kid, like a teenager or a kid or something that got a gun aiming at you and threatening your life? And they was like, could you pull the trigger on that kid? And that was a hard question, man. But at the same time, to be honest, if that kid has ill will and trying to take my life, he's no better than the savages that's out there. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a teenager, hey, I'm not looking at the person. I'm looking at the gun that's being pointed at me. Now, do you want to lose your life? Well, you know what? That's a teenager or a kid, so I'm gonna die. I won't be able to take care of my family. I'm sitting in my house minding my own business, and this kid break in, but I'm gonna allow him to take my life because I can't pull the trigger to defend myself. No, I don't go like that. A threat is a threat. And that's the bottom line. A threat is a threat. It's a lot of young killers out there. So don't be manipulated. And at the end of the day, it's all about self-preservation and protecting your family and protecting your household. Now, if you got somebody that come in and they think that you're gone and you confront them and they turn around and try to run out, do not shoot them in the back. Let them go because they're no longer a threat. I say use deadly force when you're facing potential deadly force. Let me re-say that. Use deadly force, match force with force. One more thing. A lot of people, I'm not trying to give out the wrong message. Do not misunderstand me. If you encounter a savage and you surprise him and they trying to run, let them go. Don't kill. Some people think, okay, you done broke in my house. Oh, I'm gonna send you to Funky Town. It don't go like that. Nobody, you are not the executioner. You're not the you're not the judge, jury, nor executioner. You don't have the right to kill anybody because they're breaking into your house. It's illegal to kill anybody over property. You only can defend yourself when your life is in danger, an imminent threat. So just because somebody crawled through your window and you catch them, you got the right to execute them and gun them down. It don't work like that. Your life got to be in imminent danger. Now, if they coming in and they got a gun, then by all means, send them to Funky Town. But if it's somebody done broke in and they see you and they turn around and they trying to run out, you're going to end up in prison. And that's the truth. So get that mentality out of your head. Oh, I done caught them in. I'm the executioner now. I know a lot of people like to, talk, the mumbo jumbo, whatever. They want to talk, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I got this rating on them. Listen, I'm not trying to create that type of environment. We righteous people. We ain't bloodlust people. That's the last thing I want to do is to have to pull my trigger and take somebody out. Lord knows I don't want to do that. So I understand you, sir, that you don't want to take a life, because once you take that life, you can't bring that life back. But at the same time, if they come in armed, they got to be held accountable too, because they shouldn't have broke in your house armed in the first place. They shouldn't be breaking in your house to begin with. That's number one. But just because they do it, it don't make you an executioner, especially if they're trying to retreat. If they're trying to retreat, surrender, let them do it. Because if you shoot somebody in the back and they see it in their autopsy, the first thing they're going to do is slap the handcuffs on you and say, this person was trying to run. He was no longer a threat. So I don't have it in me just to try to kill somebody, put somebody down just because they done broke in my house. But if you coming in armed, and you got that energy that you ready to take my life, and I see you a gun in your hand, then I'm going to respond accordingly. But I had to get this out. What I would say, sir, to you is, I know you don't want to pull that trigger, but if you are confronted by a savage, a home invader, and they have a gun, then you got to do what you got to do. If you love yourself and you love your family, or, you have to take them out before they take you out. Because if you can't pull that trigger, then what's the point of you even having that gun? So you wanted my advice, my input. If they're coming in and they're armed, neutralize them. Send them to Funky Town. If they're coming in unarmed and they see you with your gun and they're trying to retreat, let them go. But if they're coming in unarmed and they see you with your gun and they're running towards you to try to take your gun, because that's what you got to assume, send them to Funky Town. And it's just as simple as that. But Gun Freak Nation, I love you. I appreciate you. To all the new citizens, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, more importantly. And there's a link to merchandise. I have t-shirts. I have music. I have coffee mugs. Some of everything in the Gun Freak Nation store, if you want to support the channel. This is Spencer from Freedom Holsters. He gifted me with 2 of his hats. Freedom Holsters is the official Gun Freak Nation gun shop. He show us so much love. He give us discounts. So, look it up if you're in the Metro Detroit area. But anyway, Gun Freak Nation, y'all stay safe. Y'all stay humble. Stay righteous. And remember, if a savage breaks into your home, send them to Funky Town, baby. I love y'all. Salute.